Hello and welcome back to the GonzoEwok channel with me, Gonzo, for part 3 of our RimWorld playthrough. If you remember last time, we've made a little bit of a storage area. We've started out doing some planting. We've got some rice on the go, got some corn on the go. Started mining out a little bit of steel. We've got some pretty good reserves kicking around here. And you know what? Things are looking alright. Puddles the cat killed a squirrel and has ate part of it, and we're planning to cook the remainder. And then we've got some decent meals that aren't coming out of those MRE style ration packs that we've got kicking around here, or trying to eat ourselves some raw cactus, which is always a bonus. Nasty bit of sick there. It's Lumi threw up. Oh yeah, that's right. Lumi and Havoc broke up, didn't they? So Lumi's pissed off at Havoc. This series is hopefully entertaining you so far. I'm enjoying playing it. Should say that all of these episodes, the past two and this one, have all been recorded on the same morning while I'm still off for Christmas, just into January. There's that rat. Right. Hunt the rat. But yeah, all of these episodes have been recorded together, so if you have left any comments on any of the previous videos, I haven't picked up on those yet. I'll probably today record a little bit of a backlog of this, so in addition to this episode, maybe the next couple as well have all going to be recorded at the same time. But if you are leaving comments and suggestions, any tips of things that I should be looking for, by all means, I'll read those when I get to them. So in the next few episodes, hopefully, we'll start taking those into account. Speed things up here just as night draws on. Everybody's asleep. It's a little bit boring. Just waiting. I hope you can hear the music in the background for the game. It's so chilled and lovely. Really, really good soundtrack. Those berries, want to bring those indoors as well. Berries, as you can see here, they'll spoil in 12 days. Really, we do need a bit of a fridge on the go and probably getting some power. I have got some steel out of interest for power. We can make a fuel generator with 100 steel and a couple of components, so we'll need to find components. Fuel generators, they're handy when you get started because it means that we can use the wood to keep them going, but they're not particularly efficient, don't produce a huge amount. We've also got batteries where we can store surplus power, which are very handy. Solar generators are quite nice, but of course they do rely on the sunlight. Schroeder is blasting that rat, or trying to, with a pistol. Not doing a very good job. We could also build some wind turbines as well. 100 steel and 3 component, 100 steel and 2 component, 100 steel and 2. All I'm thinking of, guys, is I'm thinking if I can maybe stick down maybe a generator. Oh, killed the rat. Liver, right lung, left leg. That's a hit. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is maybe if we can get some power down, we can actually build off a little bit of a refrigerated area. Might be quite a small one. I'm concerned that I'm moving things like steel and all my gubbins into here, and then we'll put food in. But really what I want to do is have an indoor stockpile and then maybe an indoor fridge. Right, okay, I've got an idea. What we shall do, as we've mined this out, I'm going to do the same again. I know it took a little bit of time. Yeah, there's an idea. Cancel that a little bit off. We shall mine. Keep it nice and quick, straightforward. We'll mine a little side bit off here. We'll stick a door in. Will that work? Yeah, because then if we can then put like a cooling unit here, have this bit chilling off, and then there's going to be hot air coming out of the cool unit, and we can put that, the cooling unit, and then we can put that there. Because this is a little bit deeper in the rock, it'll naturally be a little bit colder. As you can see, it's 21 degrees outside, down here on the bottom right, and indoors, slightly colder. It's 20 degrees, 23 degrees in here, but that's because we've got a torch on the go. We've got an oven as well. There's a little bit of heat coming off the torch. But yeah, if we put a little door here, put a refrigeration unit in, this bit will be warm, but that doesn't matter. We're only going to keep things like rocks, clothes, raw materials in here. The heat doesn't really matter. And because this is a little bit further indoors, we can probably get this nice and cold and then start getting all of that perishable stuff, so all the food that we're getting, and then we can start storing it up in here. Meanwhile, We'll build in a little door here, put a corridor, maybe make a little kitchen, get some, get some bedrooms on the go, get a little bit of a social area going, and that'll be pretty sweet. So what we'll want, structure. Now for doors, we can either make them out of silver, steel, or wood. I don't know if there's any difference for a fridge in making a wooden door for a fridge and a steel door for a fridge. But I'm not really that worried. I've always done it with wood doors before in the past, and if the fridge is on and it's generating power, that's absolutely fine. What we're going to do is then we'll put this in, we'll build a cooling unit up here, should have enough steel for that. We're going to need some components. Well, there's compacted machinery up here, so if we just grab a little bit of that, we'll set that up and say that needs to be mined. Bring those down, that'll give us some components. There's a little bit back here as well. And with those components we can make a generator, maybe a fuel generator to get us started with. Well, I don't know, I like solar generators, and I like having things like solar generators, and I like having things like the wind turbines, and setting up really what you want to do is vary the sources of power that you're getting. So, I mean, for instance, wind energy obviously depends on it being windy. If it's not windy, you're going to lose your energy. Solar power, one solar panel will generate enough to maybe keep things ticking over through the day, but of course as soon as it gets dark it means you lose power. And the whole point of a refrigerator is we need a constant source of power, because as soon as that cooling unit goes off, temperature will start increasing, stuff will start thawing out, and we don't want that. We want to make sure that anything that we put in the fridge is going to be kept cool at a consistent temperature. So I'm thinking that probably, sorry, I'm just taking a sip of my coffee. I think probably what we need to do is set up a fuel generator and harvest a shed load of wood. We haven't got very much at the minute, but if we can get a bunch of wood together and get a decent stockpile of it, that'll be great. What we'll do, just while they're busy digging stuff out, we're going to say we don't want any foods to go into this storage area here. Don't need food in here. Everything else though is absolutely fine. Don't want corpses in there though either. Corpses we'll deal with when we get to. Because we've done that, we want to create a little stockpile zone. We'll keep expanding this out as they dig more and more of it. This one though, take everything off there. And in terms of corpses, animal corpses can also be put in here, because if we shoot something, we can drag it in here, keep it nice and chilled until such times that we can then go and... Oh, that's why we're not cooking with stuff. We need a butcher's table. Silly me, I forgot. 95 wood. We haven't got enough wood for this for the time, for now, but we have got an order here to start chopping down some of the trees. That'll give us some more wood. Squirrel will spoil in 1 day, which isn't ideal. Rat, spoil in 2 days. Slowly going off in the sun. That's not depressing in the slightest, is it? So as you can see here, we can just kind of keep expanding that out like that as we dig more and more of it. But this is going to be where food storage. So animal corpses can come in here, foods can come in here. Don't allow rotten food in here. We just want to keep this just for meals. And then we'll worry about getting set up with a refrigeration unit and the power supply. Now, guys, we've got a fair bit of work on here between the table, all the chopping going on. We need the components up in here that I've told them to mine, and of course digging this out. So speed things up, keep things ticking over. Looks as though we have getting my hands on enough wood, because that's the butcher table being built. Go to bills, butcher creature, animal corpses, just do forever. So basically as soon as there's a dead creature on the map, at some point when somebody's got some time, they'll come across and chop it up. Now we do have... Let's have a look. Cook. Prepares meals and butchers meat, but he's only got 2. We're going to run the risk of doing this. He's only got a cooking skill of 2, which means that potentially Schroeder could poison me. Either through badly preparing meat or preparing the meals themselves. But Schroeder also has a little bit of a passion for it, so we'll level up fairly quickly. So we might end up with a bit of vomit and a bit of diarrhea kicking around the place, but as you can see, Schroeder's preparing the squirrel. We want to get that turned into food because it is going to rot. And we might as well. I know that it's half a squirrel. We've now got some squirrel skin. We've got a little bit of meat, which you can see Schroeder. Now it's just prepared it, is bringing it across to dump in the stockpile here. all of those rocks will say at some point collect them up and take them away. Schroeder's having a little bit of a bite there. Simple meal of agave fruit. And of more agave fruit. And of more agave fruit. Yeah, it looks as though Lumi's on a bit of a cooking binge here as well, just making up some meals. As you can see though, these meals, they'll only last for 3 days. Now the agave fruit itself, I think, will last for about a season before we prepare it, which is why we're fine to say collect the animals and butcher them. That's absolutely fine. The meals we don't want to produce lots of until we've got somewhere to store them. I'm aware that I've said words like fridge and storage quite a few times, and that's probably a little bit boring, but it's very important. I mean, what is a colony at the end of the day? It's a bunch of people eating food, and as a result, we've got to make sure that that food supply is safe and secure. Then we'll worry about everything else. Got some visitors coming in. Group from the Stihule Democratic Concord are visiting the colony. They seem to have a few items to trade. So there's Margot, or Marjo, and Doug. I'm not sure if that ostrich is theirs or not. So these guys are going to come down. We're going to send somebody out to meet them, hopefully with a decent social skill and maybe do a bit of trading. We have got a little bit of silver. I mean, to be honest though, I don't think we need much. I mean, we've got rat meat, we've got squirrel meat, we've got a little bit of agave left, we've got some meals, and we know at some point when people get around to it, we have got these down here as well. What I'm tempted to do with Schroeder, after dumping that meal down here, I'm going to say, right, I want you to prioritise hauling that. I want to bring these up and I want to get these in here, so we've just got them handy. There we are, bringing the meals up. And then Schroeder's going to go and help. Lumi is going to go and collect some of the agave, doing a bit more harvesting. So of course the thing is, we've said make 9 meals, so in total we have 6. So Lumi's just going to keep doing that until we've got 9 meals there. We've got 3 days worth of food. Because these meals are going off in about 3 days, it makes sense to me that we've always got 3 meals worth of stuff prepared in advance. There we are, getting those ready. So trust us, if you haven't played RimWorld before, things will start moving fairly quickly. We will expect a raid at some point. We've had visitors. Schroeder, what are you doing? Going to go and dig at the compacted machinery, that's fine. We do need that. We want to get some power up and running. It's a tough one. Do we want to have a little fuel generator? But I mean, as you can see, we haven't got any wood. We've got nothing that we could put in it. Or do we take our chances and use a solar panel? Honestly, I'm tempted to use a fuel generator just because we know if we chop enough wood, we can keep the power going through the night. We can't be relying on the sun, which is only going to be out for, you know, in winter here. We can't rely on the sun overnight. We're not going to be able to generate enough energy with one solar panel to keep a refrigerator going. So we need to have a fuel generator, and what I'm thinking is we don't want the fuel generator being out in the middle of nowhere where the sun gets to it, potentially it gets damaged because the damaged generator potentially could explode. At least I think they can. So, no, need a hash of that. Get rid of that. Stockpile zone, expand that. There. I might put a little... Yeah, I mean, we could turn up here into, I suppose, kind of like a power room if we're making a decent size. We'll do something like that for now. With a long corridor, we can make it bigger if we needed to. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm thinking because, of course, if we make a fuel generator in here, we're going to need to run power conduits, and power conduits are ugly, so a good tip is to try and put them in walls. But, of course, these aren't walls, technically speaking. They're just bits of stone that we've hammered out. We should really, to make things look prettier longer term, say this bit would want to probably at some point knock it down and build a proper wall in between, which looks a bit nicer. Same as we'd probably want to put decent floors on them as well. But what I'll do is I'll make a room with a long corridor Because, I mean, this isn't going to be a heavily, I suppose, trafficked area. We can put a fuel generator, we could put some batteries in here as well. We can expand that if we want to put a bigger rack of batteries in, and we'll just run a conduit down, which will allow it to connect it to a refrigeration unit. Because this bit, people aren't really going to be walking in or spending any time in apart from to fuel the generator, coming backwards and forwards. People will spend much more time down here when we've got bedrooms and a social area set up. So I'm not really that worried about the conduits as such. So in the morning we'll get people to come and dig this out, set up a generator, and then we can start. Oh, we didn't speak to those people. They're off. And then we can start getting that fridge set up. Once we've got the fridge set up, I'll feel much better about stuff, because then we have got that longer term survivability in place. So, Lumi thinks that you should give your faction a name. What should the faction be called? Well, the faction name should obviously be Gonzo. I would call it GonzoEwok, but this is a solo series, so I'm calling it Gonzo. So it's the Gonzo faction. There's probably better names, but I'm calling it the Gonzo faction. Since it looks as though you'll be here for a while, Lumi also says that you should give your community a name. What should this community be called? Well, clearly, if you're the Gonzo faction, you would live in Gonzoville. There we are. The faction is now known as Gonzo. The community is now known as Gonzoville. Nice. Once things have got a name, they feel proper. Yep. That's about as good as that prophetic bit of knowledge will get, I suppose. So, good. Digging your way through. Nice. If we can get this done today, that would be pretty sweet. It does somewhat limit the size of this stockpile here, but you know what? I mean, early days this should be okay, and longer term we might end up building stuff out and about. While we're getting all this done, I could really do with, you know what, just all of this wood here, just chop it all down. We're going to need wood, so if somebody wouldn't mind, that would be quite handy. Rat leather, squirrel skin. Just out of interest, all the different animals, are we allowed to keep leather in here? Mad animal! What's happened? Havoc has been injured. A local squirrel's gone mad. It'll attack everyone it sees. It's probably a squirrel that's been driven mad with grief after its partner was eaten by the cat. So, Havoc has been attacked. He's been bitten on the chest by a squirrel. So, I mean, a squirrel's not a major threat, is it? We'll draft you. That means we can start using you for combat purposes. Fire at the squirrel. You're drafted, so I can pull you out the way. Squirrel's attacking the door. You know what? Actually, why we're threatened? Havoc, you've got a knife. Just go and stab it. There. Yeah, just stabbed it right through. I'm sure at some point Schroeder will come along and then turn it into some food. Havoc, you're no longer drafted. Back to your duties. Yeah, if combat breaks out, basically you come across and you hit toggle military draft, and it means that you can then click on the map and tell people where to go, where to aim, who to fight. So Havoc's been injured. He's been scratched on the left hand. He's been bit on the torso. That means we are going to need a medical bed. We're going to need somewhere where he can lie down, and basically that's a denoted place for somebody with medical training to come and fix him up. Now, this is getting a little bit cramped. What I'll do, it's not ideal, but as a short-term fix, if we go to furniture, sleeping spot, and flip that around, and then if we then click on it, and we can either set it for prisoners, or we can set it as a medical bed, changes blue. Who was our doctor? Character, medicine skill 6, medicine skill 0. Yeah, there's a point. I didn't really spend a huge amount of time and attention thinking about who was going to be doing the healing, did I? Luckily, even though I forgot it, I have got somebody who's got skill 6, which is alright. Look at Havoc now. Because, I mean, he was bleeding, he was in pain. We can see his wounds have been bandaged here. His manipulation's a little bit weakened. He's in a little bit of pain, but otherwise doing okay. He used a little bit of medicine in treating him there. Right, got a corridor built. If we've got a corridor built, have we... Yep, we've got some components. There's 8 components there. We shall power fuel generator. Put that... Yeah, we'll put it up in the corner. And then at some point, somebody will come along with the relevant steel, grab those components from a little bit further north. Those, and in doing that, that should hopefully get us a fuel generator up and running. What do we need for power conduits? Power conduits is just 1 steel. We're going to run those straight down this corridor, down here, and then fridge. Fridge. Do I need to research fridges first? That would be quite annoying if I did. No, if we've got a temperature, got a cooler there. So we can set a cooler up on here as well. That'll be cool. Ha! That'll be cool. Oh, Schroeder's feeding Havoc. As you can see, I can imagine Lumi probably has no interest in trying to help Havoc right now. Still thoroughly pissed off with him. Not as bad. They are chatting. I think they're over the worst of it, but... Yeah. I mean, the crying shame is Havoc still kind of, you know, he respects Lumi. He gets on with her okay. But we're doing okay here. I'm hoping by the end of this episode we will have that fuel generator in place. We haven't got any fuel to put in the fuel generator, but it should be okay. Go on, Lumi! Lumi failed while constructing the generator and some resources have been wasted. Effing marvellous. See, this is the problem when you haven't got somebody who's good at construction. Right, go and get another component. Go and grab a bunch of steel. Luckily, we've managed to get a fair bit of it. And we've got a good old stack of it down here as well. Schroeder, what are you doing? Still cooking. It's alright, I'll take it. Havoc. Doing alright. Oh, Puddles. I heard you meowing there. It's a good point, actually. Zone and home area. Oh, you know what? I'll just link these up. That bit. And that bit. And that bit. There, that's the home area. Do it. Do it. Generator. Havoc's healed. Generator's fixed. All good. Power. Power conduit. So we're going to just run it like that. And that should be okay in order to get us a cooler set up. So, temperature. Cooler. There, so that'll take 90 steel and 3 components, which we can grab. If we set it up like that, as you can see, there's a blue end and a red end. The blue end is the bit we want to be cold. The red end is the bit that'll be warmed up just by the warm air being vented away. Yeah, I mean, that's as good a place as any to put it, if I'm honest. What we need to do is just mine out a little section here. So we've actually got space for it. You can actually build them into walls, but you can't build them into, I suppose, rock walls, if you like. Sort of player-made walls you can. Get dug out. Oh, you just take your time, sunshine. I'm just sitting here ready for it. We'll get going. Go on. Nice. And then in no time, this will be nice and icy cold. All this food. Spoiling. Rat meat. Less than a day. Less than a day. You getting some wood together. Yeah, that's it. Get that built. And then all we need to do is chuck some wood in there, fuel it up, And then that's it. We've got a fridge. If we've got a fridge, we're doing very canny indeed. Means longer term, the food will keep. Right, where are you going? Right, fuel the generator. There, generator is now running. Temperature, power needed, 20 watts. Power being generated, 1000 watts. That's pretty decent. So, this is currently, target temperature is 21 degrees. Oh, that's why it's only using 20 watts. We want to bring this down to, say, -3. So it's now using 200 watts, high power usage. But if we click here, temperature should slowly start dropping. Yep, temperature is 24, 25 degrees out here. It's already down to 14 degrees and dropping down in the fridge. So we might actually get the temperature down before this meat goes off. It's spoiling in less than a day, still fresh. Temperature down to 10 degrees. This bit's getting very warm, because obviously all that heat is being vented out in here. And that heat carries on through in here. What we could do though is, this is fairly interesting, but what we could do is we could then build corridors coming off here, and then that heat will dissipate, but it will generally be sending a little bit of heat through, because if it's a bit cooler in the rocks, it just means, you know, come those cold long nights, not that it gets particularly cold around here, but that will be quite nice. 23 degrees, 2 degrees. The meat's refrigerated, so it'll spoil in 2 days, 5 days now, because it's in the fridge. It's frozen. Get the cooler down to -4. Basically, we're making a freezer. The game doesn't differentiate between something that's been frozen and something that's been fridged. Of course, in real life, if we had rat meat and we were constantly moving it between the fridge and the freezer, it would, you know, go off in fairly short order, really. But here, it's frozen, it won't spoil. If for whatever reason this room gets a bit warmer and stuff then says, oh, well, it's a bit warmer, it's now refrigerated, we can freeze it again. We don't need to worry about it. It would be probably a little bit too much micro, I suppose. But yeah, everything's frozen. That's it. This food will keep as long as this thing keeps running. It's -3 in there. 37 degrees in there, though. Jesus Christ. That's going to be a bit warm. Just for the comfort, I'd be tempted to maybe put like a vent or something, just so the heat then, some of it dissipates out into the rest of the, you know, the rest of the area. But I mean, it's not like we're living there. We're not spending a huge amount of time in there. I think we should be alright. Okay, I think that's been a fairly successful little episode. We've got some power on the go here. Got a couple of days worth of fuel in the Jenny. That's then created a little freezer, nice -3. You know, if it's a nice hot day outside, it's 20 degrees, you can just step into the freezer for a little bit of a chill down, a bit of a sharpener. Havoc survived his encounter with that squirrel by stabbing it to death. I think we're doing okay here. Alright, I'm going to end this episode here, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want, you can like the video, you can subscribe if you haven't already, and follow on Facebook and Twitter and all of that good stuff. Any suggestions of how things are going, or what I should be doing if I'm not doing something at the moment, or if I've totally overlooked something, please let me know in the comments as well. It will be probably a couple of videos until I get to read them and pick them up, but thank you again for watching, and we shall see you next time. Cheers, and bye-bye.